This is a Magneto recharger for Ford and Fordson, Los Angeles, California. I don't see a year on that plate. Serial number, model, type. Let's check this out. So this was used to recharge your magnets while they were still in the car. This is our device over here. And here's a picture of the hogshead for Model T and the Magneto post. And thorough instructions. How to operate. $57.50. That was a lot of money back then. So I'm guessing the average car owner didn't own one of these. This would be owned by a shop or a dealership. So here's the only gauge on the unit. Needle's actually bouncing. I wonder if that thing still works. Let me show you the inside of it. We have our wires from the terminals connected to electrodes that extend down into these glass jars that were full of some sort of chemical solution. It's hard to see, but there's plates in there. It's way up there on the coulometer, but it looks a little dangerous. Of course, it's just like anything else, I suppose, if you know how to use it. It's not dangerous. This box is in fantastic condition. I mean, the corners are still sharp. Dovetail work is still pretty good. Look at those old hinges. Stop thief auto alarm. It's funny they were even making alarm systems 100 years ago. Made by the Penn Gregg Manufacturing Company, Minneapolis, Minnesota. I don't see a date on it. So this is sort of like a plumb bob effect going on here. And this is a clamp up here. You would clamp this somewhere on the vehicle and you'd hook up this wire to the horn so it was always hot. And as soon as somebody interfered with your car in any way, this little plumb bob would rock and it would make contact with this ring and blow the horn. I doubt many people use these. I just don't see it. But you never know. I should hook this up one time at a car show on one of my cars, just for fun. Original wire still with it. Next thing I have is a new powerful valve lifter WW Junior for Fords and other light cars. So it's a valve spring compressor. Self-locking, manufactured by Wainwright and Wainwright, Brooklyn, New York. Retail price $4. Patent date of 1921 and 1923. There's not much to it. You just put it where you want it and push, and it holds the valve spring open for you. And they say it does have a locking mechanism in there somewhere. Next, I have an old coil tester. It's also spark plug tester and light bulb tester. It's got an ammeter, no other gauges, a selection for 6 volt and 12 volt, although it's got an AC plug-in for it. It's got an on-off switch. So let's plug this in. Hopefully we don't burn the house down. Let's turn it on and see what happens. Put a spark plug on it. Now instead of the spark jumping the gap here, it'll be firing the plug instead. I know this ammeter is not calibrated, but that's okay. I don't use it anyway. These are crude devices. Today there's better ways to tune a coil. And if you don't have the equipment and the knowledge, I highly recommend sending your coils to somebody that knows what they're doing, have them rebuilt and fine-tuned. They make a world of difference when they're set up correctly. Let's see if the light bulb tester works. Yeah, it does. It's got a side for dual filament and single filament. And you just got to hold the contacts against it while you're testing. Simple as that. The gap here can be adjusted. This one, yeah, it does have a maker's plate. Servo Products, Chicago. Can you guess what this is? It's a steering wheel puller. This was intended to be clamped somewhere where it could be aimed at the driver. And then you get a long hose. You drill and tap into your intake manifold and put a vacuum nipple on there, hook this up, and this runs off the vacuum. Trico. I bet you it still works. It's hot. So this is the deal where you remove your intake manifold and tap a hole in it. And then you screw this into your intake manifold. And you hook up a wire from power. It shows here, runs up to the dash. There's a little switch so you can turn it on and off when you need it. It says it produces perfect combustion and thus prevents the seepage of gasoline into the crankcase, which always impairs your lubrication. Every time you start a cold motor, you wear out your battery and shoot a stream of raw gasoline into your cylinders, causing carbon deposits and waste of gasoline. Switch on the instant manifold heater and start your motor instantly. Yeah, fair enough. I found this box at a swap meet, and it's got, I don't know how many of them in there, maybe 10? I don't know why you'd need 10 of these, let alone one of them. But another cool little gizmo. This is just an auxiliary fuel tank. This was made with the intention of making it so thin that it could fit underneath a seat, the front seat, the back seat. Anywhere that there was a small gap, you stick this underneath your seat and forget about it. This would get you to the next gas station. I think it's a pretty neat idea. And of course, you can't leave home without your fuel gauge. These were super common and often had branding like this one does. So that's the advertising side. And then on the back, this is your gasoline gauge. Measure with stick vertical. Yeah, no kidding. It says cotter pin extractor. So when you pull the handle out, these little teeth come out. And the idea is you put the teeth over the head of the pin and then squeeze it, and it pulls it back down inside the housing there and kind of straightens it out for you as you're pulling it, and makes it easier to remove a cotter pin. These are Champion spark plugs with priming cups. These are NOS virgin plugs, never been used. These would be quite handy, especially on a Fordson tractor or any old antique car that you had to prime. Put a little gasoline in there, pull this little lever up, and see that hole? Then it allows the fuel to go down through the elbow into the spark plug, and then it drains out right by the spark. So talk about an accurate way to prime a vehicle. This would be fantastic on the Fordsons. And these are the rebuildable Champion plugs. So this nut on top here can be removed, and then the ceramic part can be removed and a new one can be installed, and then you tighten this nut back down. Very high quality plugs for their time, and in fact they still are. I just think they're fantastic. And the boxes say 1917 on them somewhere, and right up here.